Apropos, as they say, of absolutely nothing, I've been fortunate enough to go to a lot of big matches with Kev Bridges. Several Clásicos, one Spanish Cup final, a cup final at Hampden where his team beat mine, let's make no more mention of that, and the 2016 Champions League final, Madrid against Atleti again. We were meeting up in my hotel, which happened to be the same hotel as Atleti were staying in. And I bring you this anecdote because I think it conditions a lot of the ways in which Atleti have stumbled against Madrid in subsequent years. That night, while I waited for Kev and Carl Spain, his buddy from Ireland, I watched Cholo Simeone in the bar lobby of our hotel with a couple of Argentinian pals, Mono Burgos, Gabriel Batistuta, talking at length, talking in depth, just out there in the open, not locked away in a private function room or anything like that. And judging by the body language and by his facial expressions and by the way his friends talked to him, and particularly given how events unfolded and what he said afterwards, I have no doubt at all that what they were talking about was what if. Cholo Simeone, very superstitious man, a man who believes a lot in star signs and meteorology, all that kind of nonsense. He was saying, what if? What if we lose again, 2 years on, to Madrid again in a Champions League final? The tournament we've never won, and a tournament they always win. Nerves might or might not have got the better of him the next day. Kev and Carl and I nicked over to the Piazza del Duomo to hear Gaisca Mendieta playing a DJ set. Hi Gaisca, it was brilliant. Beatles, Lou Reed, Prefab Sprout, Primal Scream. Happy days. On the way to the game, walking up to San Siro, there was a right good punch-up. We avoided it, but it made good spectator sport. Then in the match, no minute by minute again, but remember, Griezmann hits a penalty smack bang off the woodwork, off the crossbar it was. Sergio Ramos scores an offside goal. Carrasco equalises. Penalty shootout. Some players, particularly Bale, could barely make it from the halfway line to the penalty spot because of cramp. He made it there, he scored. Lucas Vazquez, who'd come on for Carvajal, played really well, scored. 9 penalties scored, 10th comes along. Juan Fran, maybe the nicest kid on that pitch, in front of friends and family, hits the post. Game over, Madrid win again. These things will happen. Madrid getting an offside goal, English referee, what can you say? Lucky white heather. But afterwards, it took some days, but afterwards, Cholo Simeone talked about not being able to hear the Champions League hymno. They call it a hymn in Spain. Anthem, we call it. That iconic music that some fans like to whistle and boo, that my dad is completely convinced ends in the word lasagna, but it doesn't. It ends in champions. He said that it brought ghosts, that it was music he'd grown to hate, to fear, because it unleashed demons in his head about the 2 biggest, most significant, most painful defeats in his history. And I think that's conditioned a lot of the ways in which Atleti have lined up against Real Madrid since. It is not that they haven't beaten Los Blancos since. That would be false. European Super Cup is one example. Recently, there's a long streak of results where Atleti have managed to get a draw against Real Madrid. But the way in which they set up is always, oh no, look out, let's get extra men back. If it starts with a 4, it can graduate to a 5, 6 at times. They surrender midfield. They try to play in the counter-attack. They don't go me and you football. They don't go at Madrid and target their weaknesses in terms of being on top of them. They think they know where the weaknesses are. I'm sure they play to win, but they're preconditioned by their coach with a what if we win again? The fear of failure rather than the lust for we will stand on your throat. We will subdue you. We're here to win. I hope that doesn't condition what happens on Tuesday night at the Bernabeu. I fundamentally hope that the game is better because Atleti go, as they did at Barcelona last week, we're here to do you damage. And then see how Real Madrid cope. Maybe unravel them. Maybe smack their arses because Atleti are adventurous. But that's the kind of game I hope to see. It's the kind of game that because Cholo Simeone and his demons in his head and the fear of the Champions League anthem may not give us. We'll see. Stay tuned.